this computer. All right, good morning, team. I'm super pumped to talk to you guys and Angell and everybody. We're going to be talking a lot about challenge groups today. So how to do it on your own and then how to do it with the team. We have some really fun ideas that I think would be really awesome to implement. But before we get into that, I'm going to shift it over to Angell. Her video is not working, but just listen to her beautiful voice. And yeah, take it away, Angell.
Okay, well, hopefully you can hear my voice.
Yes.
Right. Oh my goodness. Okay, sorry my camera's not working, but that might actually be a good thing because I'm still a hot mess today. I had the chance this last weekend. I grabbed my husband, took him down to Phoenix, Arizona, and we attended the Brendan Burchard's High Performance Academy. And if you guys ever get the chance, I totally encourage you to do it. I think he runs 2 a year. He's been doing it for like 10 years. Seriously look into it because it was a really powerful weekend and something that has totally blessed my husband's and my life. And we're really excited to start implementing some things. But he had this guy, Dean Graziosi. He was one of the speakers. He's the author of Millionaire Success Habits. He's like a real estate investor. And anyways, he's had crazy success and a lot of different things, but he talked to us about selling. And it's kind of interesting because I know like that was one of my biggest fears when I joined Beachbody was selling. I thought, I don't want to be a salesperson. I'm not good at selling. That's not at all what I do. And as we know, like we are selling things, you guys. Like we're selling Beachbody programs, we're selling Shakeology, we're selling these things. But of course we talk about how we're not really selling, right? We're sharing. Sorry, let me fix something real fast on my computer. Okay, there we go. And yet we are selling. So he talked about some really great things that I wanted to share with you guys when it comes to selling and how we can become better at persuading and really better at sharing our product. So he says this one thing that I really loved. He said, being amazing isn't enough. You have to feel it. He said, you have to recognize the blessing it's going to be for them if they join me. And that's one of the things that jumped out at me is we need to understand that if people don't buy from us, then we are not able to bless their lives. If people do buy from us, we can change their lives. If we keep that in our mind, that's going to help selling become much more authentic and much easier. It's not so much about me, like me trying to sell, but it's me trying to help this person. And the only way I know to help them is if they purchase a Beachbody Challenge pack specifically or whatever, you know. I love this one part. This is the part that I think can really change things for us. He said, people want these 2 words, write them down. People want enthusiasm and authenticity over every other thing. If we are being authentic, obviously we know this, right? People don't want the perfect cookie cutter, like they want real, like they want to know that we're real moms, that like Amber's bed's not made, that I don't have makeup on. Just kidding, Amber. No, but I mean, like seriously, they want to know that we're real people. Do you know what I'm saying? They want to know that like my kids were late for school today or whatever. Like they want the real. But they also want the enthusiasm. If we're showing up being tired all the time, like dragging, like, oh, I got my workout in, but it was so hard. I just want to go take a nap. Like if that's how we're portraying our lives on social media, people are not going to get excited with us. People are not going to want to have what we have. Enthusiasm and authenticity. It's interesting too, because towards the beginning of this conference, Brendan had us pick 3 words to describe our best selves, whether that's us now or that's what we want to be. And my 3 words were fun, energetic, and enthusiastic. And the word enthusiastic came up over and over and over again in this conference. And it just hit me how important it is for us to be enthusiastic about our lives, about coaching, about our challenge groups, about everything that we're doing. People are attracted to enthusiasm. When I think of an enthusiastic person that I want to join, I think Keisha Fitzgerald on our team, right? That girl is so enthusiastic. Do not compare yourself, but go over and check out her page and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I want what she's drinking. Like she's so enthusiastic. That's what people want, you guys. And honestly, Some days we're not feeling it. That's normal. Some days we're tired. Some days we don't feel great. Some days like life is just crazy. But if you can just like ramp up your enthusiasm before you put up a post, before you go live, before you talk to someone, it's going to make a huge, huge difference. And that's what he said. He said, be the most authentic version of yourself and ramp up your enthusiasm before you sell. He also said, if you can be enthusiastic and authentic, you will go ahead of others by leaps and bounds. And not that this is a race, not that it's a competition, but for those of us who have been in the business for a while, we see people come in and out. And that's just how it is. I get that Beachbody isn't necessarily for everyone. I think it could be. I think absolutely anyone can be successful with this. I think we all have things that we can use to bless and share the lives of people that are within our lives and in our circles and people who aren't yet. But being authentic and being enthusiastic is going to keep us going and is going to help us see some momentum. And it's going to help us sell. And I know sometimes I don't like that word, but that's what we're doing. Like we're in the direct sales business. That's what we do. He also talked a lot about persuading people. He said, if you don't persuade people to take action, you don't have a business. That's what we need to do, is persuade people to take action. And again, that's going to take authenticity and enthusiasm. Just a couple of quick things that he talked about. He said, number one, he said, these are like the two things that can change things for you. Enter the conversation already going on in the mind of your prospect. So we need to know our prospects. We need to know what's going on in their minds. We need to know what's going on in their lives. He says, you need to know your avatar and put their glasses on, know what their dreams are and their desires are. And he said, sometimes if I don't know, like if I'm talking to someone and I'm like, I really can't quite pinpoint what's going on in this person's head, he'll just say, hey, I'm a little confused. If it was 1 year from now, what would your perfect life look like? Or if it was 1 year from now, how would things be different? Like just to kind of get an idea of what does this person want? Chances are all of our friends, all of our followers, all the people who are watching us, whether like in the backgrounds, in the shadows, or like straight up commenting and watching us, chances are they want a little bit of what we have, you guys. They want our energy. They want to feel better about themselves. They want to start losing weight. They want to have the enthusiasm that we have. So understanding where they're coming from is going to help us to really be able to help them. And then the second one he said was, people buy from you when they feel understood, not when they understand you. So of course that goes back to, we've talked about this a lot, it goes back to being more of a listener than a talker. When people ask me what, like tell me about the challenge group, I like to turn it around, maybe tell them like 1 or 2 sentences, but I love to turn it around and say, well, tell me about you. What are your health and fitness goals? What do you want to accomplish? What are you working on right now? What has worked for you? What hasn't worked for you? Get into their mind, make sure you understand them, and then you can go from there. I could definitely spout out a ton of information about challenge packs and Shakeology and the workouts and the challenge groups and coaching and the community and how just amazing all this is. That might not have anything to do with what they're looking for. You know, like I need to understand them. So that's really it. I think if we can all just focus on enthusiasm and authenticity, make sure we are being enthusiastic in our posts and in our lives. I hope you guys are going live. People are going to feel that. People are going to get excited about that. And people are going to want to buy from you. So that's it. That's all I've got for you. That was the main gist of his little bit for us.
That was awesome, Angell. I like your 3 words too. He had us do that. I went the time before, just so you guys know. It was a long time. It was a while ago, but pick 3 words for yourself, like your ideal self. Like just pick 3 words and stick them around your house somewhere, or journal them each morning. Like just write the words over and over, and your thoughts become, your actions become who you are. So it starts with our thoughts though. So pick those 3 words and then think about them all the time. Gosh, I don't even remember anymore what my 3 words are, which is sad. I was really good for like months, but anyway.
So
Um,
I just really quick, I actually have my 3 words as a an alarm in my phone. So 3 times a day, my alarm goes off and says fun, energetic, enthusiastic. And I've only been doing that now for a couple of days, but I'm like, every time it goes off, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm fun. I'm a fun mom. Or, oh yeah, I can be energetic. The fun mom part is the big one, because sometimes I'm like, I am not a fun mom. Like, my kids deserve a fun mom, but I'm like, I am not a fun mom. But I'm getting better because of my little alarms.
I think that's great. And then to piggy bank off of like the enthusiasm and authentic, but primarily the enthusiasm, when I sit down to invite or go live in a group, and really just sending messages in general, I have to like really make sure my energy's there. So if that means I have a little bit extra energized, even though it's not going to work out, if that means like I do jumping jacks. In fact, Scotty Hobbs, who is in our upline, he was saying that before he goes live, he always, in fact, it's in the video that Angell posted in our group, actually. He's like, I always do burpees or something before I go live. And I don't quite, I'm not quite, I hate burpees, so I don't do that. But I do make sure I'm in the right frame of mind, because believe it or not, you could type the exact same words to somebody, and if your energy is there, I swear they can feel the energy, versus if you type and your energy is off, it's almost like they can feel that. It's weird, I know, but it also helps you be more authentic, because instead of checking off the list, you're like, I care about this person and I cannot wait to invite them and talk to them about this. So you can just like whatever you need to do to get in the right frame of mind, and then go for it. Okay, so let's talk about challenge groups. You guys, challenge groups have evolved from when I started out as a coach to now. And when they switched to the tracker app, I have always struggled with the tracker app. I love the accountability of the tracker app, that you can log in your shake and log in your workout, and as a coach, I can see exactly what they're posting. What I have recently started doing is screenshotting at the end of a challenge, and it's like their report card, and I send it to them and I say, you rocked. I want them to know that I'm watching them, even if I'm not like talking to them one-on-one every day. It's like, and every week I shout out who logged in at least 5 workouts the week before. I'm like, dang, like check these girls out. So I love the tracker also. I don't know if you guys have run into this, but because I'm mostly on Instagram now, some people that want to be in the group are not on Facebook at all. And so they don't want to create a Facebook account. And for them, they would rather just have an app on their phone that they can go right into us, kind of like the other fitness apps that are out there. And it's like a one-stop shop. So I was like, I've been tortured over, but how do we create community? Because I'm talking one-on-one with my girls, but they're not necessarily talking to each other. And I can sometimes give them, mini challenges to kind of interact with each other. But at the end of the day, it's not really feeling like a team. It's feeling like I'm their coach and they're their challenger, and that's fine. And I think Facebook was kind of like this, except Facebook is set up way more social. So when you are posting in groups, and you can go live in groups and you can do that kind of stuff, you have more of that interaction. So you can do what you want, but I am experimenting in October, and then I hope that like our team, you don't have to do this, but I'm hoping that a lot of us as a team will work together and see if we can do a team-wide challenge. And this is why. So I posted a training in our team page. I really want you guys to watch it. Even if you want to do your own groups, it has really great ideas for engaging with each other, with everything like that. So I will repost the link to that in this team call, but I would watch it. That training was dynamite. She started, and they had to learn this too, because she was running into the same problems. so she decided to open it up. It's like her coaches and her. So basically a team goes in there, and there's not really one leader necessarily. I mean, I get the idea from watching her call that she orchestrates everything and organizes it, but it's not one coach leading the group. It is basically like the coaches that are like, yes, I want to help lead this group, working together. So it's usually like 3 or 4 coaches, which honestly could be everybody in here. And ahead of time, we kind of talk about the daily challenges, and then everyone is assigned different days to go ahead and schedule and post and stuff like that. So hopefully I'm making some sort of sense. And for those of you who are brand newer coaches, like, this is the perfect opportunity to invite people to feel still show up as a coach, but not necessarily feel the weight of carrying an entire group. And if you also are a coach and you don't have a single challenger, this is a great place for you to come in too and just be a rock star challenger. Like, let's work on you too, you know? So what we would do is we would have us all in there. We can decide whoever wants to be a leader in there. That's up to you. And the more, the merrier for reals. And then we would break it down into teams. So if you've ever, I don't know how many of you guys do this. If you've ever done a challenge with me, you've probably seen this sometimes, where you have like a point system and it's a little bit of a competition with each other. And it depends on what it is. Like, there could be a daily challenge that day, or it's if you log in your workouts or whatever. What we would do for this is it would be a point system, but we'd also have teams. So if you come into this challenge and you have 5 ladies that are coming with you, we would make sure that you and your 5 ladies were on the same team. So, and you'd be like the team captain. And you would have, I mean, we would have to obviously do a little bit of planning ahead of time and work out our teams and work out things like that. And she talks about how they do have to do that too, kind of work through. But the idea is that you would have such interaction with your customers, because you would be pulling them together as a team. It's like, you guys, we all need to log in today because we want the points. And those people are going to want to log in because not just, they don't want to let their coach down, but they don't want to let their team down. And they're going to start paying attention to their teammates who are logging in. So they might not get to know everybody in the group, but your people are going to get to know each other. And I think that there's so much value in that. And it really ups the accountability. And so the way that she has it broken down is, you know, as a team, if a member logs in their workout and logs in their Shakeology, each of those are worth a point. And if they do the daily challenge, that's 4 points. And some of those daily challenges could leak over onto social media, like post a sweaty selfie on your Instagram story, tag your team captain, your coach, so that they know that you did it. This is awesome for us because this is how we keep that enthusiasm going, and we kind of like share it with others. It's like letting other people know what we're up to and that it's fun and that they want to join us. Sorry, I'm like a million miles an hour. So here's what I'm thinking. A lot of you guys have commented that you already have groups ready to go for October, and so you want to keep in and do your own thing. That's totally fine. I think that's a good idea, especially because we do not want to confuse our new challengers. So if you already have a group up and going, like keep going on with the flow. And if you don't, Angell and I will be teaming up to do an October 8th group. So originally mine was supposed to start October 1st and hers was supposed to start October 14th or some other day, October 12th or whatever. I don't know. Whatever 7 plus 8 is. And we decided that we would rather try to like prototype this, try to figure it out. And so I'm going to ask my challengers to wait an extra week, and she's going to ask hers to come in to end there anyway, to get there too at that time. So anybody who wants in on the October 8th group, will you please let me know so that we can connect you, and you can come in alone. You can come in with challengers, whatever you want to do. We will start prepping on the 1st, which is Monday. So Monday is when the group will be live, and we can be putting people in there and we can be chatting. Now this one will be smaller than obviously like what we have envisioned, because there won't be as many, but that's kind of it. So if you're on October 8th, I just challenge you guys. I mean, if you're in October and doing your own thing, I guess I'm just challenging you to be creative this month, to, you know, really engage with your ladies and maybe throw in some fun challenges, maybe get on a Zoom chat with them sometime. I don't know, just something that really creates good engagement. I think our ladies already really appreciate being able to log in their stuff on the app, but now we need to like kind of over deliver. Does that make sense? Like, they talk about this too a lot, that people come in thinking that they're going to have all of this fabulous support and all of this great stuff, and then sometimes we under deliver. I'm totally guilty of this, just so you know. And so now it's like, okay, how can I actually be above and beyond? Now coaching, our whole lives cannot be running challenge groups. So schedule out your posts, set aside just a tiny bit of time, even just 10 minutes a day, to go in there and just really be interacting with your people. And then team-wide, I would love to do one November 12th. So I'm setting the date right now, November 12th. And that is for anybody. The person that did the training, her groups, she has like 90 plus people in them, and they are wildly successful. So we're not going to have a problem with too many people, is what I'm saying. Let's like see how many people we can bring into this. So that's going to be November 12th, and it's just going to be 3 weeks long. This is the other thing that I'm switching. So sometimes challenge groups goes the duration of a program. Like if you're doing Lift 4, then you have a 60-day group, you know. If you're doing, you know, when we did 80-day obsession, we had, you know, a 90-day group. These challenges are going to be more like mini boot camp, so 3 weeks long. I personally think that sometimes the fourth week I start to lose interest in my group. I'm already working on the next group that's going to be coming out. I'm kind of over it for some reason, even though I love those ladies. I'm just like kind of like and so by giving us just a 3-week challenge and opening it up to any program, just so you know that too, any program, 3 weeks, and then waiting a week to start the next one will give us all a week to be like, I can breathe, I can schedule posts for the next one, I can recharge as a coach, and then you can really bring it again for the next 3 weeks. So that's just kind of what I'm thinking. Also, for those of you who participated in the flash sale, I know that it was like pretty successful, and I think one of the reasons it was successful was because of the energy that was there, because of the amount of people that were in there and the amount of people who were seeing it and participating. Now, we can't do a flash sale every month because it would dull the excitement of a flash sale. And I think Brigitte was talking about how she wants to reserve it for kind of slower months. September is a slower month because kids are going back to school, parents are strapped for cash, you know, that kind of thing. And then probably the end of November, early December is going to be another, that's also a tough time. January, that's not a tough time. People are ready to invest in themselves in January, but November, December. So somewhere in there, we'll do another flash sale. But I was thinking, and I know she's thinking of doing this with the Team Forward Fitness, but I think maybe we should take it down to our team, of doing a preview week of what a boot camp is or what a challenge group is. And that might be easier for if you're a newer coach, or you have a newer coach, or you have a customer that maybe wants to bring in their sister or their friend or whatever, something to invite them to, where we would talk about what the challenge group was, they would be doing for those 3 weeks, what it is required to be part of that group, and that kind of thing, and kind of hype it up, kind of like we did in the flash sale. So just hype it up, and we go in there and we shout out people who are getting challenge packs and getting ready to go and that kind of thing. So I actually kind of wanted to hear what you guys' feedback on that was, and if you thought that was a good idea, if it's something that you want to implement. as a team? And if so, then we would do our first one for the November 12th challenge, which means the last few days of October, we would open that up and hopefully like sneak in any last minute SC points. And then the beginning of November would have the rest. What do you guys think about that? Right? It's okay if you don't like the idea, by the way.
Wait, think about what you were just talking about, or all of it?
Well, I mean, sure, any of it. Any of it. I did
all of it was great.
Throw up on you guys.
It was like word vomit. It was just like everywhere.
Seriously, I'm so like poor Angell too, when I was calling her, like running home from dropping my kid off at preschool going, and we can talk about blah, 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 and she's just like, cool.
I love the challenge group ideas. I haven't watched the training video yet. I'm going to, but I'm already excited about it. I'm just wondering, because I'm still struggling. Most of my like active customers right now are doing the 2B mindset.
Okay.
And that's pretty much it. So I think it can fit in. I'm just wondering your thoughts on how best it will fit into that challenge group.
Okay, that's a really good question. One, that training, she shows screenshots from her computer, and I know that some of her challenges are actually 2B mindset specific, so that it's like a nutrition / 2B mindset challenge. So it's like nutrition for those who aren't in 2B mindset, and then like it's some, and I don't exactly know what she does for that challenge, but it would be some sort of nutritional, like, hey, out of those of you watching the videos, what's your biggest takeaway or whatever. Also, the only requirement that they have for theirs, and we could do this too for ours, is that they're on some sort of nutritional. So they actually could be going to the gym or not even working out or walking or something. Whatever they want for their fitness, they can do that. So that kind of frees up the workout check-in. It could literally be walking to the park and walking back. But like the money is in either like the Shakeology or the performance line. So that would be kind of more like where you'd be geared towards it. We'd still talk about the programs, of course, but I think that a lot of our posting and our challenges can also be 2B mindset focus. A lot of times I share 2B mindset with my challengers and I don't even tell them it's 2B mindset. Like I'll be like, I took this from 2B mindset, which is just a resource you could unlock on your on-demand kind of a thing. So I think they could work just fine in there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so.
I think it would be really fun to have 2B mindset people in there actually.
Yeah, I think it would be really good for them to see more than just what they're doing, as well as just get some more excitement about what they're doing, because right now I have like zero excitement with my people, zero interaction. So just that, like you mentioned, like you promised this community of support and help, and it's floundering for some reason. So I'm totally in October.
Oh, good. Okay, I'll write you down, Marcy, and we'll have like a Zoom call with all the October people so that we can figure out like how we want to do it. But yeah, no, and I think that's exactly my struggle too. I have ladies that religiously will log in everything, but they don't really care about anybody else in the group. And they will respond to like my messages and stuff like that, but they don't even like what I post. Like I'm like, okay, well, like I didn't write this for me, but okay. So it is just a way to like have way more fun and like bring kind of like what Angell said, like bring that out enthusiasm to the, like following 2B mindset can still be fun. Anybody else want to bring in? Susie?
I'm in for October. I don't have any challengers yet, but I'm working on it.
Awesome.
And then Marcy, because you were saying you have a lot of like nutrition. I love to encourage people to try a new veggie or revisit a hated one when you're from a kid. Because people are like, I don't like
good idea. Revisit a hated veggie. I love that.
And that would be a great I actually really like the revisit one you hate, and that is, Susie, that's like a perfect example of what one of the challenges could be.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we'll pin something at the beginning of the group so that they have a little bit more notice than just that morning. Cause and so it could be like, they'll see on their, number 9 will be try a new veggie, and then you could say revisit one you hate in the actual posting and all of that stuff. But at least they kind of have an idea like, ooh, I'm going to need a veggie that day, that's different. That kind of thing. So that's perfect. And that's why it'd be really fun once we do know who wants to participate in October, that we can get together and figure out those challenges. And then we'll do the same thing for November. And it should just be like one-time Zoom. We figure it all out, and everyone takes an hour and schedules in and does their stuff. And then it's like, we're done. It's not supposed to take a bunch of time, just so you guys know. So anybody else?
I want in on the October group. And I think I have 2 challengers.
Okay, Lindsay, I got you.
I also think, can we make it so it's not just Shakeology? Like she said in the training, that it's
so
nutritional.
Yeah, so you can't change it in the tracker.
Right.
It's always going to say Shakeology, but yes, they hit the login Shakeology, but they can just write on there.
Okay.
The chocolate, recovery and the energize. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
Can I just say too, I love that. I think that's going to make it easier for us to encourage the nutritionals, because we'll be able to present it as like, okay, listen, here's the thing, you guys, the way our group is set up is everyone's going to be in groups and everyone gets points and there's a winner at the end. But if someone doesn't have a nutritional, then that whole group gets left behind. It's kind of a great way of helping them see the value within the group, if that makes sense.
Yes. Yeah, perfect. And that's just something that they as a team decided. For me, it used to be if you have on demand, you're good. I don't know, that's been a really easy way for me to like have people be like, yeah, okay, I'm in for the on demand. But I like the idea. And this is why I wanted to do that precursor, like for those who are on Facebook, that precursor of like what the group is, what it takes to be in the group. Cause then we can be really crystal clear on like what Angell said, like you guys, like the reason we require this is because it will kick your nutrition like up. Like you're going to be loving the Shaco, or loving the performance line, depending on what your goals are and what you can afford and where you want to be. But everybody needs to have something that they're checking into to contribute to their group, And I remember Brigitte used to say something like, she just said like the commission from your Shakeology is what I use to buy the prizes. And she's like, so it's not fair if somebody's in there and not, I mean, you don't have to say that, but I'm just like, she would just straight up say that. So I'm like, okay, well, that's, I mean, and that's valid too. And she probably said it nicer, but you get the idea. And so if there's not any other questions, I do want to talk briefly about how to invite. Yeah, Stacy.
The only thing that I was hesitant about was when and I know that there's got to be a way around it, but I want to be like the team captain of all of my challengers. Like I don't want to have to like put them in somebody else's team. Because I love the idea of like creating a team name and you create a team emoticon. And I like started thinking about like I use the app Marco Polo with my husband all the time, and you can do groups in there, and like you could totally like get the girls together and like come up with names and come up with things and then like interact together as a team, like, okay guys, we're this many points away, like, and like really like get in touch with them like in like a more personal way that's not a Zoom where they have to like be on at a certain time type thing.
Yeah, I really like the Marco Polo idea for being with your teams. That's a smart idea. Also, like you can direct message on Instagram too in groups, and now you can do video. I think in direct message on Instagram. I just watched it in the like new bubble, So I've thought a lot about that too. And she addresses that, and I don't know, but I in my mind, I'm thinking if there was enough of us that pushed for this for November, we could have teams of 10 and, that's when, or we don't even have to know that yet. That's when we could get together in the Zoom and be like, this is how many people I have. How can we work this out where I can be on this? And we can finagle the numbers. So it's like, okay, well, like Susie and I together combined could come up with the same amount that you have brought in, and kind of do it that way. Also, if you have previously worked with somebody and like their coach material, then that could be a good chance for you to be like, I want you to be the team captain of like these, you know what I'm saying? And then you could still be part of the Marco Polo, like you could still be part of it, even though you're technically team captaining another team, but you could still be like cheering for, I think that's what she was saying. She was like, you have a team captain, and she was like, sometimes your challengers, she says that they have to get together. That's the one time consuming thing, is creating the teams, because they want to make sure they got the right, you know, they want as many people with their sponsor coach as possible. But that's also where we can finagle, and like, if for some reason you had 2 girls that needed to go to a different team or something, it could be like 2 girls that you've already team captained before, or 2 girls that like are starting to like coach themselves or something. And it can be like, look, your girls are in here, but we still want the support of Stacy. So like, you're included in all the team stuff. You're just not, your points just don't contribute, but you can still be like in on all the combo. I know she did say they had to finagle that a little bit, but they got to the point where it was working really well. So this will be like trial and error. And that's why, like, I know they do like live Zoom workouts once a week, where coaches take, and like, none of that I want to implement right now. I think that we need to just start with like teams, team captains, the challenges, the points, and kind of call it good with that, and like experiment for the 3 weeks. And then the idea is, once those 3 weeks are over, to take that other week and be like, how can we make this even better? What worked, what didn't work, what can we do? And the only other thing that I do want to incorporate is, she does do a team-wide or a challenge-wide Zoom call the night before the challenge starts. And Jill and I don't really want to do a Sunday night call, so we were thinking like maybe a Saturday morning call. And your challengers don't have to talk. Nobody has to talk. You can just be even recorded, but anybody who can get on can get on. And that's just where, even individually, we can assign out different topics, where it's like, okay, if you don't show up for your workout, if you miss a workout, this is what happens. Like, don't do this, do this, you know, or like, okay, if this, you know, like that's where we can talk, like Marcy could talk briefly about nutrition, and she can even say, those of you following the 2B mindset, pay attention, extra attention to this and that. And then that's where somebody else can be like, okay, and if you're following the fixed containers, this is really important that you pay attention to this or that. So we can kind of, and she says those are only like 15, 20 minutes tops, because they don't really open it up. It's not really a Q&A. It's like I mean, we could have the chat open if they had questions, but mostly it's just there to be like, hey, the group is starting. This is what you need to know. And kind of a thing. But if you do it on Zoom, then we're all together, like talking to them. You know what I mean? And they could be on too, listening. So I don't know. I'll probably try to do one of those for October, just to see. Practice makes comfort, right? And then in November we can try. What do you guys think?
The other thing I really like too, that I'm going to implement for every group, is like the survey she does at the beginning and at the end.
Yeah,
so
she's like, about that.
If you go ghosting on me, like, what's the best way to get a hold of you? Because I have so many people that I message after the group is started, and they're like, they stop responding to me. So I'm like, hello. And then at the end, the survey of, do you want to be in the next group? How did you like this group? Is there anything that you can think of that would like benefit the next group, type thing?
Mm-hmm.
How do you get them to take the survey?
Well, it could kind of be like, it could, so when I start a challenge right now, I send them an email like, welcome to the challenge. This is all the things you need to know before it starts. And it could be straight up in there. Like, I will add you once I have your survey. Like, you know what I mean? Like, fill out this form, and then you will get a follow-up email with the like link to the group or to the app or whatever. I mean, right now the app link is right in my email, but that could just be one of the one of the things also, like, sometimes you might just have challengers that don't want to fill out a form, but that doesn't mean they're going to be terrible challengers. It just means they don't like filling out forms. So it could just be like one, take your before pictures. 2, fill out this survey so I know how to help you best as a coach. That's up to them if they want you to serve them. You know what I mean? And then 3, it can be like, and here's the link to the app. I'll show you guys what my email is if you guys need one to like cut and paste.
So at the end of the group survey, would you do that through email too? Do you think?
Yeah, she does like a Google Doc, like a Google form.
Yeah.
But through email?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think email is good, and this is why. This is why, if you want to know. A long time ago, somebody was talking about how, we rely heavily on Facebook and Instagram to be in contact with people. And I actually think this is why one of the reasons why they also created the app is so that they're taking people off of social media platforms and putting them into like a safer place where if you got kicked off of Facebook or Instagram, you'd still have your people. But I find that like challengers still respond really well to emails. And so much of the emails people get are garbage that they're really happy when they get an email that's not. So emails are where it's at, yeah.
The
Okay.
other idea too that I just thought of to get them to take the survey is you could say, well, you can't join a team until you take the survey. So you can be in the group, but you won't be like really with other people.
Or it could be like a bonus point. Like if you turned in your survey this week, then your team will automatically have another point. So that's a potential 10 more points your team could have, So I mean we could end up with teams of 5, you guys. Just be warned. I have no idea how many people we'll have, but so that just makes it more.
Even having teams of 3, I think, would be fine, because if they know that other people are counting on them to get their work done, to drink their nutritionals, to show up, there's just that added accountability. So honestly, I don't even think the size of the group right now matters. I think people are going to get excited about it. I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be good.
Yeah,
for my October group, since I'm not joining you guys, I'm going to do the buddies. Like, say if you guys want to join a buddy.
That's Angell and I talked about that too. So depending on how many people we have, I don't mind buddies or like 3 or anything. I think the only purpose that having a bigger group would serve is that you as the team captain would get to work closely with your customers. So, but when it's small enough that you only have 3, well, everybody's all in there together anyway. So like as a person, you can still keep track of people pretty easily. But if we got to the point where we had, 50, 60 people in there, then that's a great way to keep track of your people as if you're on a team. But yeah, size doesn't matter, and I'm super pumped, and it's time to get pumped about challenge groups again. So it makes it easier to invite to them too. So I want to segue over to really fast because like Susie, I love everything you post on social media. If you guys haven't seen Susie's like progress photos and like what she does, she's super inspiring. So every person that is liking or commenting on your photos, make sure you're inviting them. And that goes for everybody. Also, I had a coach message about, can I use like the Lift 4 picture of Joel? Are we allowed to use those? And the short answer is yes, you can use anything Beachbody does, the internet is whatever. But the long answer is, but don't. That's also a short answer. Yes, but don't, because all of our invites should be our faces. Chances are people don't know the trainers. They mean nothing to them if they don't already follow. Hold on, I will answer that, Lindsay. That's a good question. I think we should do one survey. We should have a general survey. So Lindsay asked if there would be one, if we all make our own surveys, which you could. But you'll for sure get to see what, like, it's fine too if we just copy and paste each other's surveys. Oh yeah. So back to where I was saying was, just make sure when you are inviting that I think it's totally fine to let them know that you're a Beachbody coach, to let them know that you're doing a specific program or not a specific program. Like you can use words like to be mindset and things like that. But I do think somewhere in your invite, you need to be very specific about what that is, because they might not know what that is. And if they do know what it is, then that's fine. Like Beachbody is really good at advertising. But if they don't, then it's like, okay, wait, what? And it's like, well, this is a course for, emotional eating and stress eating and blah, 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 whatever. Same with Lift 4. Like I would use Lift 4 in my description, but I would be like 4 days of lifting and the HIIT and the, you get a cheat meal and you get, whatever. So it's just a numbers game when it comes to challengers. It is purely a numbers game. And I have noticed that I have to invite a lot of people to have challengers, a lot of people. And I know that a lot of no's someday turn into maybes and someday turn into yeses. So just kind of keep that in mind too. Like don't take any no's personal. Just means it's not their time. And like, don't be afraid of no's and don't be afraid of objections. And just like, it's just a numbers game, just as, and one thing, and I think we've talked about this here too, is one thing that has really helped me in my inviting, you guys, is instead of sitting at my computer and being like, I need to send out 10 invites before I can move from this seat. If that's how you work, like that's fine. But I told that to Brigitte and she was like, okay, but maybe you should try this. And I was like, okay, Maria. And I tried it and I like it. Which is she sits down and sets a timer. And I noticed Keisha does this with her team too. She sets a timer for like 20 minutes. And it's like, how many invites can I get out in 20 minutes? And she's like, if I send out an invite to somebody and they're immediately responding to me and having a conversation with me, and it takes up that whole 20 minutes, that's fine. I spent 20 minutes inviting. I had a quality conversation, somebody that's probably going to enroll, versus like making it torturous, I guess would be the right word. And so I drive up, get myself ready, and then it's like, hit the timer, and it's just like however many. And some days it's 5, and some days it's 20, and some days it's 2. And it's like, don't let your energy suck away because you didn't hit a certain number. Make it more like, were you productive with the time that you had? Does that make sense? Anything else? Whew. Anybody else exhausted?
I think too, on that note, because I have struggled. I just hit 3 years, and like I have been like very few months in Success Club, and the last 3 months, like I have really focused on tracking how many invites I'm doing and who I am doing, and like who I'm sending them to, and then seeing my results after that. And I have to do like 300 invites a month if I want to get like 3 or 5 people to say yes. So my numbers are like really, really a huge amount of no's to get a few yeses. And I know a lot of that too has been streamlining, like figuring out what's working in my invites as well. But like you have to know what works for you and what doesn't, and you have to know like you can't just like think, oh, I'm gonna do 3 invites and I'm good. Like you really need to track and see, like if I do 5, how is that playing out in my numbers type thing.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, that's perfect. Anything else, guys? Thank you.
Amber, did you talk at all about the sneak peek group?
I talked briefly, but I feel like I mentioned it too soon.
Sorry, I had to step out. We can talk about
it. No, I mentioned it just, and that was right before we opened it up for discussion, which is just, I do like the idea of having some sort of Facebook sneak peek into what the challenge would be. And that's just a very easy thing for us to invite people to. It's also a very easy thing to tell our challengers that are in our current group, you guys, if you love this, like we're going to start a new one. If you have any friends or family that would want to be part of this, we're just going to have an informational group with a few fun prizes just for showing up, invite them over there. And then that would be a good, we were just thinking, like, it was so easy to invite to the flash sale because it was like the group was done for us. It was easy. It was like the energy was high. So something like that for our group. So we'll try that for the November 12th group, and like we'll figure that out as we go on and see. I mean, a lot of my people are on Instagram, but there's still a lot of people on Facebook. So, and even talking about the informational group on Instagram, people could be like, well, I'm not on Facebook. And they can be like, no worries. Here's the information. It's just one other way of like creating hype, I guess. So anything else? You guys are awesome. I love seeing everybody. Oh, we're going to don't worry guys. We got to take a picture. You know it. Let's see.
That's really big, you guys.
Yeah, Angell, could you work on your facial expression? Because I don't know. Hold on, I'm gonna boomerang it. Boomerangs are so fun. Okay, everybody, wave or smile. Oh, you guys are so cute. You guys are cute. Don't worry, I'll post that in our group if any of you guys want to use it or whatever.
Hey, can I just throw it out too that the whole like diamond retreat is still happening and it's still possible for literally anyone. I don't care if you don't have a single coach signed, it's still possible. So
I forgot to mention that too. So yes. October 31st. That's our deadline, right? So October 31st, that a lot can happen in 5 weeks, guys. It's a lot. Right? It's about 5 weeks, isn't it?
About 5 weeks. That's crazy. I need to buy Halloween costumes.
Ugh, not ready for any of that yet. You guys, I'm like terrified. We're entering into, I'm going to end this recording, but we're